Like to call this meeting to order. Any public comment if you the agenda items? None heard. Thank you all for coming out tonight to tonight's school board agenda review meeting. We appreciate you all. Heard it was a really very good open house going on before this meeting. So again, thank you everyone for coming tonight. We'll go into item for information. Mr. Lamb, who's virtual.
Good evening, everybody. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I am Mike Lamb with Wessel & Company and am helping assist the district in the business office until Mr. Reed starts in his position. And so I am sharing my screen. Hopefully you all can see the business manager report or business office report for the month of July. So I wanted to just go through this and some of the attachments that are provided. So in your monthly financial reports, you should have received a bills to be paid list. Sandy had pulled that for tonight's meeting. I know that you all have a chance to review that. Certainly if in the interim between now or today and next week, if there are any questions on any of those bills, please reach out to us and let us know, and we'll get the answers for the details on those invoices. Also in your packet, you have a balance sheet report. That report reflects the district's assets, liabilities, and fund balance for the month of July for the new fiscal year. So the main focus on that typically is with the general fund. That's your main operating fund. And just looking at your cash and your liquid assets, the district has sufficient cash available to meet short-term operating needs, which will be important as we look at some of the other reports moving forward. The July bank balance report was in your packet. For the month of July, you can see that your general fund and investment account, the sweep account, those two are linked together. You can see we started at just under 13 million. And for the monthly activity, we ended at 12.2 million. Cafeteria had a balance of 808,000. The student activity accounts obviously had just interest earned due to being the summer months. And then you can see the payroll account activity. At the bottom of that report, you'll also see the athletic donation account, capital projects, stadium account, and your PSLAF accounts. Looking at the third report that we provided was the revenue account summary. And so that revenue account summary looks like this, and it'll give you a breakdown of your various revenue accounts. Looking at it from a high level for 25-26, you can see real estate tax revenue, the budget column on the left. Your actuals for the month of July was $1,093,000. And you can see the variance there, obviously a large variance because it's just the first month of the year. But you can also see then July of 24, that would be, 24-25 was 2.1 million was collected in the month of July. So I added just a couple of bullet points down below. The local revenue was down slightly from the prior year. That could just be the timing of when the real estate tax bills were mailed out to residents. Those collections will start to come in here heavier in August and September in the fall months. Looking at your state revenue, you can see that decreased drastically, obviously, because we do not have a state budget at the moment. So right now, the district is heavily reliant on the current cash flow and local revenue sources until that budget can be passed. The other decrease that we see is within your federal revenue, which is about $3,000 and some other revenue. So really that largest decrease is because of the state budget impasse at the moment. Looking at your expense accounts, we did provide an expense report. Looking high level, you can see again budget to actual, looking at your instruction, support, non-instructional. Total expenses for the month of July were $754,000 compared to $729,000 in the prior year. So your expenses overall are about 3.4% increase over the prior year. The district's largest expense categories, of course, are salaries and benefits, your tuition that you pay to outplacements and charters, as well as transportation. So again, looking at the expenses from that side, you can see salaries paid out was $166,000. The benefits was $312,000, largely due to the timing of when taxes and insurances are paid, along with retirement for the quarter. So again, that $754,000 is up about 3% over the prior year. This just gives you a pie breakdown of that $754,000. Again, the green is your salaries. This large silver bar would be your benefits. That makes up the bulk of the monthly expenses for July. Just a couple of other notes. Again, Sandy and Martha continue to take on more responsibility within the business office as we continue to transition from JMA. That transition does seem to be winding down, and we have the new business manager coming on board. So Ed Denner and myself will continue to be available to the district to provide support to the new business manager, to Sonia, to Dr. Rabel, to Sonia and Martha. One of the things that we are working on developing, and it is in progress, is the financial dashboard. So our goal is to try to provide another high-level financial report that's more visual in nature. So we'll continue to work with the district and work with the new business manager to refine the information in that and provide that to you all. One of the items that we're looking to work through is a budget restructuring, really just to align the different buildings' budgets into a format that makes sense for everybody. So it's really an administrative effort to sort of revisit the 25-26 budget and look at how we can sort of improve on maybe how that's reflected within ProSoft, so that everybody can manage their building budget, within the confines of what the board passed at the June meeting. And then the other sort of big task on the horizon is to begin preparing for the district's annual audit for the 24-25 fiscal year. That's all I have to share with you tonight. I don't know if there are any questions.
None heard. Thank you, sir. I want to say this is probably one of the better presentations we've had in a long time about this information. So thank you very much. We appreciate this.
Thank you.
Next, we move on to reports and presentations. Up first, Mrs. Sonia Coleman, Superintendent's Report for August 2025.
I keep wanting to say good morning, but good evening to everyone. I want to let everyone know that the report will begin to look different starting September with 10 categories I will highlight every single month. One reason for doing that is I think it's important that as we change the narrative of the work we're doing here at Sto-Rox, we have to be transparent about what that work looks like. So I want to say the 10 categories are student achievement and instruction. So there'll be highlights there. There'll be school climate and culture, operations and fiscal planning, human resources and staffing, strategic planning progress. We know that we start working on our strategic plan in October. So that will become a part of the report beginning, and I'm setting a goal to have it approved before we leave out on winter break. There'll be community stakeholder engagement portion, policy, legal updates and compliance, challenges and needs, and then celebrations. So that will be the format of the new report. I will also have it posted online for people to read in their leisure. So I wanted to let everyone know that is going to be coming. So, but for today, I really want to highlight the things that we've done the month of August, with starting with our back to school community event. It was 190 degrees out, and there were so many families and so many kids and so many partners sitting out in the heat, celebrating and kicking off back to school. We had a lot of staff show up, so kudos to the staff that showed up, that worked during the day and still found time to take part in that event. Our teachers returned on Monday, and I did not see one sad face in the place. It was a lot of work that we've done this week to kick off our theme this year is Our Way Forward. And so at every session, our staff was engaged. They asked good questions. There's shifts and pivots that are coming at folks in a way that is going to move us forward. And the engagement, I'm kind of getting chills and stuttering a little bit because I only have a short period of time to say how pleased and impressed I was with everyone's engagement, especially here it is, I'm a new superintendent. And we took time to say, let's reach back. And I called it is Sankofa, reach back and look at our past to know and learn from it, and then burn it and only bring forth the good things that took place. And really respecting the fact that there has been a lot of change and a lot of different leadership. I showed them a diagram of what happens to have progress. It starts with leadership. And I have to take the ownership of the good, bad, or indifferent that has taken place in the district, because now I own that, and that I block and tackle for everyone in this district. And I did tell them, unless it's immoral, criminal, those things you've got to get an attorney for. But if we all work together, we're going to have great days and we're going to have some not so great days. But we have to understand that our purpose here, and I grounded us in our mission and our core beliefs every single session. Because if we move away from that, then it becomes we're moving away from our purpose. And our purpose is to educate students. I let them into some work with, if you've seen the movie A Time to Kill, and at the end, he has everyone close their eyes, right? And imagine the perfect classroom. Imagine the perfect lesson. Imagine what the halls look like, what the cafeterias look like, what the restrooms look like. Everyone has a role. And then I asked everyone, would you put your child there? And if it's no, then it's not good enough for our students, right? And so I say this publicly because this message is for everyone, because we all have a stake in this, from parents to students to faculty to staff to our board of directors. We all have to commit to that. We also have to change our messaging. If one person leaves here saying something bad about Sto-Rox, it's like a cancer, it spreads. And we have to change the narrative. That's why my report is going to look different. Be transparent. Own the good things that happen for you guys. Because when good things happen, I'm celebrating you. When the not so good things happen, I'm going to take responsibility for that. So that said, we had a great launch to the week. Open house has been an overwhelming success. We all were a little bit nervous about it, but the number of parents and families that showed up for open house, thank you for that. To our community partners who have donated book bags, who have donated time, who have donated money, we sincerely thank you for that. Coming up on Monday, we will be having a back to school rally here at the junior senior high school. So if you're an early morning person, please feel free to join. The more the merrier. We want to celebrate our students, our staff who are getting ready to be in the mix of the work starting August 25th. And lastly, I do want to add that I am going to be doing a community partners meet and greet. We have a lot of community partners, and I don't know if everyone knows each other. I think it's important if we're all working towards the same mission, if we're all working towards the same goals. Sometimes we have to work smart. Not that I'm opposed to hard work, but we have to work smart towards hitting that same goal. So that is going to take place. And I've been telling partners, and I would let them know a date is September 16th at 4:15. I will send out emails. If you notice on the email, I've missed someone, blame it on my mind, not my heart, because that's how many partners we have showing up for the students of Sto-Rox. That is my report for August 21st. Thank you.
Up next, we're going to have Carrie Potter Murray from Holy Family Institute program presentation.
Okay. All right. Good evening, members of the board and members of the community, and thank you for your time. And congratulations, Ms. Coleman, on what sounds like the beginning of an excellent tenure here at Sto-Rox School District. My name is Dr. Carrie Potter Murray. I'm the Vice President of Inclusive Education Services at Holy Family Institute. With me today here in the back are Haley Giuliano, the Chief Program Officer at Holy Family Institute, Dr. Sharon Zaritsky, a new board director and longtime education leader, Whitney Boston and Dale Sleva, who are the Restorative Practices Coordinator and Principal, respectively, at Holy Family Specialized Learning, which is what I'm honored to talk to you about today. Holy Family Institute, as you might know, is a Pittsburgh institution that has served hundreds of thousands of children and families in need for 125 years. There are currently 11 programs at Holy Family that directly support about 40,000 members of our community annually. One of those programs is a private academic school that serves as a placement for high-need students with behavioral challenges. Regarding those students, I often wonder and ask you to consider, what do we want for them? Not just tomorrow, not just until the next quarter, but 5, 10, 20 years from now. Do we want them to be compliant, or do we want them to be whole? Because compliance has an expiration date, if we're being honest with ourselves. Wholeness lasts. Let me tell you what often happens in a traditional out-of-school placement. A student, young, angry, hurting, gets referred out. They land in a classroom that's supposed to be specialized, but really it's isolation. It's worksheets, short days, adults whose best strategy is keep the lid on. But that student leaves with a transcript, maybe, older, definitely, but with the same pain, the same anger, and the same sense that the system gave up on them. That's not a solution. That's a revolving door. But programs like Holy Family Specialized Learning have flipped that script. We use restorative practices, which says discipline is not about punishment. It's about accountability. It's about repair. It's about teaching. It's about teaching that young person who has been written off as difficult that they are more than their worst day. It creates a classroom culture where students and teachers are human beings first. Remember, I said that. Students and teachers are human beings first. Where conflict is not suppressed, but it's addressed, it's worked through, and it becomes fuel for growth. I need to be clear. This approach is not softness. It's not permissiveness. Restorative practice, in fact, is the hardest work there is because it demands we see our students not just as problems to be managed, but as people who deserve healing. It asks us as the adults, as the grown-ups, to hold a mirror up to the systems we've built and say, we can do better than this. We have to do better than this. For Sto-Rox students, the stakes couldn't be higher. We know their realities. We know the generational challenges. If we don't create restorative-minded school programs, what we're really doing is sentencing those children to repeat the same cycles we say we want to break. And the truth that we all know but rarely say out loud, is that when we fail these kids, it costs all of us. In dollars, sure, but more painfully in lost potential, in young lives derailed, in futures foreclosed on before they even had a chance to begin. But imagine the opposite. Imagine a program, imagine schools, where a student who lashes out isn't just suspended, but sat down in a circle where they have to hear and be heard, where the lesson plan isn't just algebra, but dignity, where staff are trained not just in behavior management, but in conflict resolution, trauma-informed care, and the art of believing in a kid until the kid can believe in themselves. When private placement schools operate like ours, here's what the outcomes look like. Students see a 40% reduction in repeat suspensions within the first year. Attendance rises because kids want to show up to a place where they are valued, not discarded. Graduation rates climb because students feel connected to a community that holds them accountable and lifts them up. And maybe most important, fewer students end up in the juvenile justice system because restorative practices replaces the pipeline to prison with a pathway to possibility. That's what restorative practices offers. That's what specialized learning is. And this is the kind of placement that Sto-Rox students deserve if we mean what we say about equity, about excellence, about every child's future. So tonight, what I hope to inspire in you is belief and hope. I'm also asking for courage. I'm asking you to back a placement that isn't a Band-Aid, but a blueprint. Not another program where students are hidden away, but a program, where they are seen, heard, and given a real chance at long-lasting outcomes. Because at the end of the day, as educators, we are judged not by the ease of the decisions we make, but by the students who walk out of our schools stronger, wiser, and ready to lead lives they could not have imagined when they first walked in. Thank you.
You don't have any questions? We got some questions up here if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm. It's an excellent question. And it's actually a question that should be asked to any kind of outside placement, because that is an investment for a school district to make, correct? Just listening to your financial report of your out of district placement costs. What we offer, what we're piloting this year is a tiered program approach. So everything from our enrollment decisions to our programming offers to families and students is aligned with a tiered model, starting with a tier 1 model, which teaches daily lessons in social emotional learning and restorative practices, which is what I mentioned in my presentation, an idea that we all make mistakes because we're all human, but we can't be judged by those mistakes. We need to learn how to accept that accountability and be vulnerable and then move forward. That's tier 1. Tier 2 builds upon that and adds group counseling and targeted skill support. And then tier 3 moves on into more highly individualized support, such as supportive counseling on an individual basis and very targeted skill and goal planning with a reward system built in. Mm-hmm. It depends on what their level of need is, which it's really important that any kind of support model, whether it's in a school district through a special education program or an out-of-district placement, uses an individualized approach. So during every intake appointment that we host at our school, it includes a tour. It includes an interview with the family, with the school district, and with the student to really assess what level of need the student has. Based on our intake assessment, the student receives a score, which again is based on their level of need and the level of risk. And then based on what their score is, that would determine which tier they're placed in. And the whole design of that is to make sure that we're really addressing what the student's need is so that we can meet them with where they are and promote their growth. So it's pretty common in out-of-district placements to hold on to students. In our program, one of the main program goals in our model is to work with school districts, work with students, and work with their families to create plans to transition back into the school district. Last year, we were able to successfully transition 18 children back into their school districts, which is a monumental increase from years previously, where sometimes that percentage was 0. I lost my train of thought. How long? The average length of stay for a student is 140 days. Now, that seems like a school year is 180 days, right? That's the average. Like I said, we have students that come to us with varying needs, varying community and family supports. Based on those indicators and based on those factors, that has a direct line into how quickly a student can transition back into the school district. They did. Again, another excellent question. So our restorative practices training is led by this lovely woman back here. Her name is Whitney Boston. She is a licensed professional counselor and has worked with youth in the community for years and years and years at this exact skill set. What our training for staff looks like is probably very similar to Sto-Rox teachers. They come back a week before students start, and it is every single day, every single moment of the day is packed with our sessions, our training sessions in restorative practices and trauma-informed care. A lot of school systems and a lot of out-of-district placements rely on that 1 week of training and that one day a month, maybe 1 day a quarter for in-services. We've prioritized staff support and staff training in our program. What that looks like is that when students are dismissed, there's a 45-minute period at the end of every single school day that is specifically targeted for staff to support their self-care, their emotional needs, and their understanding of how to support our students. Because remember, we're working with very high need students that come to us with very spirited behaviors. The staff need to be supported just as much as our kids need to be supported. Every day of the school year, there's the after school training and support sessions. We have a red flag meeting model that if there is a concern that any staff member has, we elevate that concern and we meet and we talk about that as a team so that students don't fall through the cracks. Our staff to student ratio is 1 staff member to every 6 students. In our tier 1 and tier 2 classrooms, the classroom roster is capped at 12. That's an appropriate number for a special education teacher to students with IEPs. In our tier 3 classroom, it's capped at 6. 6 students to 1 special education teacher sounds like a very, very low ratio. And it's designed to be that way intentionally because these are the students that have the highest emotional need, and they need a staff member that has the capacity to focus on them rather than a classroom that's double that size. Does that make sense? Okay. Excellent questions. Thank you. Any others?
Thank you very much. We
Okay.
appreciate this.
Thank you. Have a great night and have a great school year.
You as well.
Thank you.
Up next, we're going to get into our recommended new hires. When we call your name up, please feel free to come on up to the podium on the microphone. We're going to ask you who you are, where you're from, what brought you to Sto-Rox, and tell us a little about yourself, please, right? This is a good time for us to get to know who you are, excitement and the whole nine, right? So don't be shy. We're not going to bite you, I promise. So up first, Mr. Scott Reed, business manager. Welcome, welcome. I like that tie, by the way. I like that tie.
As you said, I'm Scott Reed. I grew up in the area, born and raised in Carnegie, so close to the neighboring stuff. I went to Bishop Canevin High School, so we played Sto-Rox in football. So my first interaction with Sto-Rox was basically that back in high school. Also, currently, more recently, I was on active duty as an Army Reserve recruiter. Sto-Rox was one of my schools, so I had come here and to do the table visits and stuff and meet with students and community and everything like that. So that was kind of like my introduction, and it was something that I felt for. Coming here, I'm first of all thank you all, administration, the board, for confidence and trust for this opportunity. I'm super excited. One of the biggest things throughout the whole process of the interview is how the school district's growing. Everybody here is very happy and very enthusiastic of moving forward. And as she said, this year being our way forward, something like that, very interesting me. So I'm excited to bring my experience and my background to this. Personally, I'm married. I have a 13-year-old daughter that's in 8th grade. So most of my time spent with her and all her activities and traveling with my phone. So, any questions?
Any questions? Thank you. We appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you. Go Air Force. You would do Air Force. I know that. That's what I'm talking about. Up next, we're going to have Shane Adams, girls basketball coach. I get you a new shirt already. I see it.
How's everyone doing? My name is Shane Adams. I'm from the North Side, Manchester area to be exact. Graduated from Northgate in 2015. I attended a branch of the University of Pittsburgh at Titusville for a year. I transferred and did a year at CCAC. I played collegiate at both places. My first year back, after my second year at school, I volunteered at Northgate. My first year was a volunteer year. My second year, I got the middle school head coach position for the boys. My third year, I became the first seat assistant for the varsity team. Our first 3 years, I would say we were pretty bad. With a little bit of hard work, though, the next few years, that fourth year, we ended up being 500. And I think that was the COVID year. So we had a tough year with the COVID year, still made the playoffs at a first round bounce out. And then after that, it was WPO championship appearance against Aliquippa. 2 years in the state playoffs, all the way down to the semifinals. And last year was my first year actually sitting out. I've been a full-time official as well for 6 years. That's refereeing collegiate, high school, and little kids, junior high. I also do AAU and men's programs as well. I live in the community. I've lived here for about 7 years. I've lived all over Sheridan and McKees Rocks, from the top to the bottom, everywhere, honestly. I'm familiar with the area. I'm also a cook at some of the local bars here as well. What brought me here is just the spirit, new beginning, new challenges, and this is a new experience, new beginnings.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Welcome.
Thank y'all.
Up next, we're going to have Michelle Cox, 46 special ed teacher and virtual Viking coordinator.
Sorry, it takes me a while.
That's all right.
I actually grew up the street in Kilbuck Township. I actually went to Avonworth. I am in school for my second master's, and I'm applying to the PhD program in January. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be here at Sto-Rox. I worked in the community many moons ago at a daycare, and I loved it, and I had a positive effect on the kids. And when I saw this position come up, I thought it would be a great way for me to continue to have a positive effect on the kids. So those kids that I taught before are now grown adults, and I still keep in touch with some of them. So and I have a dog. Her name is Nugget. She's my child. And I now live in Aliquippa. So that's it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Welcome. Up next, we're going to have Rachel Keeler, K-3 special education teacher.
Good evening. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. My name is Rachel Keeler, and a little bit about how I ended up here is I've been a teacher for 8 years, but I recently spent the last couple of years in a charter school environment. And personally, it did not align to my values as an educator. I loved the children, which is why I was there as long as I was, but I'm very passionate about public education and serving the students in a community and existing within that community, which is why I was looking to make the transition back to the public school environment. When I interviewed at Sto-Rox, I got to meet so many great administrators and so many teachers, and one thing that really inspired me is how many teachers have been working here for 15, 20, 30 plus years. I think that speaks a lot to the community and the school and the teachers' dedication to their students and serving them. And that was really what pulled me in and told me that it would be a right fit for me. So I'm really excited to continue teaching special education, and I'm happy to be here. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Up next, we're going to have Joshua Rankin, 5th grade teacher.
How we doing, everybody?
How are you?
Good, man. Great to be here. Josh Rankin. I'm from kind of right around this area. Grew up in Moon Township, and I played football and baseball there. And I then went on to California University of Pennsylvania, where I got my degree. Played baseball there collegiately. Throughout those times, I had a lot of great mentors, whether they were teachers or coaches, that were able to put me in a position to do something like this today. So as Ms. Coleman talked about in our orientation and our way forward, also our purpose, my purpose, I think, is to give back to the community and also be that pillar for kids, to be impactful, a young adult that they can look up to, just like teachers mentored me when I was younger. And I feel like I can make the biggest impact here, and I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you.
Welcome. Up next, we're going to have Shauna Ricci, school counselor, grades 4 through 6, upper elementary. Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, that's fine. Richie is fine also.
Okay, all right. How do you say it? How you really say it?
I just say Richie because it's
All right.
easier. If we were in Italy, I guess it would be Ricci.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
But I'm Shauna. I've been a school counselor for over 20 years. My career has been with the AIU and alternative ed. So I've got the opportunity over the years to work with students from pretty much just about every district in Allegheny County and some in Westmoreland and surrounding. So I've had multiple Sto-Rox students in the past, and kind of what they've all said to me before was pretty much everybody knows everybody. It's a tight-knit community. There's a lot of pride. Or if you see someone's grandmother sees you doing something, she's going to tell your folks and things like that. So that was kind of my preconceived notion about the district. And I mean, I've already seen that. For example, at open house last night, I saw families interacting with each other, interacting with the staff, talking about years of experiences they've had in the schools. I heard one grandmother last night saying, oh, my neighbor, he's a young father. He doesn't know what the process is for enrollment. So I got to help him. I got to get him on board with what he needs so he can enroll his child. So I just saw that sense of community just in these past couple weeks. So I'm excited to just add to that level of community and that sense of pride and just build that in the students as they move forward in life. So I'm also married with a 10th grader. She's a cheerleader, so that keeps me busy going to cheer events and sporting events all the time. So
thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Up next, we're going to have Alyssa Schreier, K-3 special education teacher. I say it wrong?
Actually, yeah. Sorry.
How do you say it?
It's Schreier.
Okay.
Like
I
I
was
always say
trying.
it's dryer, but you drop the duh and add the sh.
I like that.
There's my special
I
ed
like
coming
that.
out.
I like that.
So exactly, those blends. So my name is Alyssa Schreier. I actually grew up in Moon Township. After I graduated Moon, I went to the University of Pittsburgh for my undergraduate in speech pathology. Upon that graduation, I was working within the special education world, and I just truly fell in love with working with individuals more specifically the students with learning disabilities. So at that point, that's whenever I started my career in special education, went back for my master's. I recently have, my career started in Virginia Beach. I kind of worked as a teacher assistant, working my way up the ranks. I have a 2-year-old daughter at home with me. So knowing that I have my daughter with me, I know I need that support, and all my family is, my family as well as my husband's family is here in the Pittsburgh community. So I just want to be able to be closer to family, as well as just showing her the community in which I have grown up in, and the surrounding areas. As for my reason for choosing Sto-Rox, when I first had come back, when I had my interviews, I was just really impressed with the value of a supportive atmosphere from the administration and the staff. And I look forward to empowering my students that I work with to reach their highest potential to ensure that they are reaching those potentials academically, social, emotionally, and developmentally.
Thank
So
you.
yes, that's about me.
Welcome. I like that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Bobby Joe Thompson, General Cafe, Upper Elementary. Thank you. Up next, Isabella Warden, K-3 special education teacher.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Isabella Warden. I'm going to be a first-year teacher at the Primary Center, teaching life skills, kindergarten through 3rd grade. I just actually graduated in May from the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Thank you. So I am super excited for this to be my first opportunity. I am a little nervous, so I wrote something down. I hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
I said, I am drawn to Sto-Rox School District because I want to be a part of a team that's committed to making a difference. Through this life skills position, I will be able to fully embrace my passion for educating, supporting and empowering students with disabilities, not only through their academics, but through independence as well. Through my interview process, I was able to meet a bunch of different staff and faculty members that were super kind, welcoming, and really made me feel supported, which is why I'm so excited to be a part of the Sto-Rox community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then up next, we're going to have Alexis Welsh, K-6, thank you, physical ed teacher.
Hi, how are you guys today?
How are you?
Good. I am Alexis Welsh. My family grew up over in the Sto-Rox area. My dad, my grandfather, and my grandmother, they all lived over here for a multitude of years. My grandmother still lives down here. So I was drawn to Sto-Rox when I saw the health and physical education position open. A little bit about myself. I have played sports all my life. I played basketball through college. I did track through college. And I've just loved being active all my life. I have been an activity specialist at the YMCA, and I also have been working with pre-kindergartners for the last year and a half. What also drew me to Sto-Rox is the commitment and the well-being that they have for the students, and creating that meaningful relationships and supporting personalized learning for each and every student. I also admire how Sto-Rox is invested in the whole child, celebrating diversity and offering the programs that support every student's growth, whether through PBIS, restorative practices, mentorship, and the extracurricular activities that you guys are constantly putting on. And I'm excited about this opportunity to contribute to Sto-Rox's mission and build stronger relationships with both the students and the community.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you all. Thank you all very much for wanting to be a part of our family here at Sto-Rox. Look forward to hearing some great things about you all going forward. Now we'll move on into our non-consent agenda. Item number 1 is to waive and approve the reading of the July 24th, 2025 minutes of the Sto-Rox School District Board of Directors. Any questions? Financial management, turn back over to Mr. Lamb. You hopped off? Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Item number 2, at the recommendation of the superintendent and chief recovery officer, approve the transfer from general fund remaining a balance of donation of $28.99 that remain unspent from from Viking Pride activities at the junior high school to student activities account. Any questions? Under operations, accept donors choose projects awarded for Ashley Dickinson, classroom project resources for a new year, Elena Hall, classroom project sensory resources, Julie Blank, classroom project Boo Boo and care supplies, and Julie Wood, classroom project school year tissue. And number 2, accept the donation from Verizon for 36 backpacks to primary elementary school. Mr. Paul, any comments, concerns about this?
Yeah, I had a colleague from a from my last district who had been overseeing the donation of backpacks to my prior district. They had a large number, and she reached out to me because they had some extras, and she said they were primary age backpacks. I reached out to Dr. Muma to see if she'd be interested in using those, and she said absolutely. And so we picked them up, and that's where they came from.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All went at open house.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Good. Next, accept the donation from 40 pencil boxes with supplies, tissues, miscellaneous, and supplies from the president and vice president of Consolidated Displays Incorporated, Joanne Lebrecht and Derek Lebrecht. Dr. Memoir.
Thank you. Good evening. We were contacted a few weeks ago by Joanne and her son, Derek. They live and work within our community, and we were so impressed with, 1, the donations, and 2, secondly, the partnership. They are going to come back to the primary center in September or October to meet with us, and they want to know if there are any other projects or opportunities for us to really engage in that opportunity for learning, PBIS, or any type of extension. So we're very excited, and we really appreciate their generosity and their kindness. They knew our community, they care about our community, and they want to give back. So thank you very much to Consolidated Displays.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Up next, Mr. Zach Simpson to come on up, please, and take items number 4 through 8.
How's everybody doing? I left my agenda over there, which was number 4. Good.
Number 4 is approved the quote for the renewed backflow testing from Jesse Casiato.
That's just an annual testing that has to be done by all districts in Pennsylvania.
Yes,
has to be done by a certified plumber. We give him the paperwork. He comes in, tests all 3 schools. That's the standard. Number 5, approved quotes from Watt Fencing Incorporated. Yeah, this is for, we're going to fix the parking lot fence, make sure it's secure so kids can't get underneath, and fix the 2 parts along the backside that have had damage over the years. Watt Fencing is the company that installed the most recent fence in the late 80s. So we're going back and having it done right. It's just, that's the part that's not broken yet.
Do you know if there's a way, I guess maybe smarter, so having that the tarp on the fence and everything, and it's usually that same spot on the side of the booth that gets knocked over by the wind?
I believe what has happened that has been in the past, instead of fixing it right, they just pushed it back up.
Got it.
Also, that the tarp that's currently on there is very heavy. There are different types.
Okay.
We've looked at a few quotes. I'll bring that in the future. I want to get fence fixed first, and we'll get the proper fencing on there.
Thank you.
Or tarp on there.
And number 6, approve the Huckistan service agreement for HVAC and high school equipment to include 2 full checks a year on all equipment and monthly follow-ups and service on equipment.
Yeah, this, as everybody knows, we have an aging building here at the high school. This is only a plan for the high school. We're under warranty with both the schools up on the hill. We have to get professionals in here to service what we have. If we don't, issues will only compound. I've used them in the past. They're very reliable. They're very a prudent, you make a phone call that they're here immediately. It would help us extend the lifespan. All of our equipment is out of its expected life. Most HVAC systems, they say 15 to 20 years. All our systems are well beyond that. So we're trying to get as much life out of them as we can.
Appreciate that. Number 7, Number 7, retroactively approved 2 quotes from Bassetti Reliable Landscape Services for projects at primary, upper, and junior senior high school.
Yeah, that was the mulching and landscaping that's done each year at all the schools. They did it outside of the auditorium here, then all the mulch beds up on the hill. That was done before the new hires started, before a new hire introduction. So that's already completed and done. So.
Too easy. And then number 8, approved a 10s quote for repair from fascia and downspouts at Upper Elementary.
Yeah, I guess last year when they replaced the roofing, the scope of work, the fascia was not on there, and the gutters were not on there either. They've, since the school's been built, a few of the gutters from the acid rain have dissolved basically, so they got to repair those, reattach them to the building. Then the fascia on the peaks has blown off. I don't know why that wasn't tied into the roofing project. It should have been, but we can't go back and retro.
I'm about to ask you, that's not something that
it should have been. I mean, that was
okay.
Something that it was missed in the scope of work for those projects, but that'll fix the problems we have right now.
Thank you.
What we did for the fencing, I reached out to at least 6 vendors to confirm that they come in. Only one showed up. We need to get it fixed. That's why we have the 3 quotes. I mean, I reach out to everybody we can. Everybody has a hard time getting people to work. I've been trying to get a quote for painting doors for a month and a half, and nobody wants to come in and quote stuff. So we do try. I mean, if you have more vendors, I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. So
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Sir. Appreciate you. Up next, number 9, approve the STEM Coding Lab MOU for the 2025-26 school year for students in grades 2nd through 8th. The cost of this MOU is covered by the PA Smart Grant. Mr. Johnson?
So we're in our 4th year of partnership with the STEM Coding Lab, and they provide computer science coursework during science time once a week in grades 2 through 8. They also last year got a grant and put a makerspace in the upper elementary. So that's finally complete, and students are using that once a week when they are there, but teachers can also take the students in there. Thank you.
Too easy. Up next, accept the donation of 40 laptop covers for Chromebooks from Gallagher Insurance. Any comments, concerns?
They reached out to us and asked what our needs were, and our high school principal said we sure could use laptops. So anyone that asks me, I say we need laptop covers. We have the laptops, so they graciously donated 40 laptops. I sent them the Chromebooks that we have, and they're shipping the correct covers. So she's gonna, Mrs. Davis is gonna identify which students will get the 40 covers.
Thank you. Number 11, accept the donation from various items from the AIU clothing of the McKee Rocks Alternate Education for Disruptive Youth Program. Donated items include choir gowns, student desks, file cabinets, and furniture.
I have nothing additional to add. We appreciate it, but we did say, and Zach and I talked, we love folks to donate their items, but it's okay sometimes if we don't need it, not to take them because we're running out of storage space for these items. So.
And then number 12, authorize district admin to accept future donations from the AIU having limited value when deemed to be in the best interest of the district. Makes sense. Next, move on to E, special assignments. Approve the approve the school district bus stops for this upcoming school year. Any questions? Always a pretty hot topic. Approve student handbook for next school year. Any questions? Next, under educational leadership, approve and ratify the professional development matrix as presented. Any questions about anything on here? Approve the renewal for NWEA MAP growth K through 12 online annual license for the upcoming school year. Mr. Paul?
That's just a renewal. It's just a renewal of the same program we've been using. It's a one-year renewal. We're using it K through 12. We intend to use it as a universal screener, which means all of the students will take the assessment. It's an adaptive assessment. It's an online program, which adaptive means it adjusts to the students' answers and takes them on the inappropriate learning path for them. If they need questions that are a little more challenging, it'll develop that automatically, or vice versa. Using that as a way to facilitate the grouping of students for whatever sort of additional support they might need. Maybe they don't need as much additional support, so we keep them in what we call tier 1. Maybe they need some extra support, put them in what we call tier 2. If they need a lot of additional support, we put them in what's called tier 3, multi-tier system of support model, MTSS, sometimes it's referred to as. And this program gets us going on the data we need to generate for those groups.
Thank you.
It is, yes.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Next, I'm going to ask Mrs. Linton Bigler to come on up, please. Or is she online? I'm sorry, she on virtual?
Hi, I'm here.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. I'm going to talk about the approved Sunbelt paraprofessional, Charmaine Malcolm, to provide services
Yes.
from August 25th to June 2nd, 2026. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Charmaine is coming to us from Sunbelt. She has past experience in several school districts, working K through 12, served most of her time in a middle school setting, working with students with intellectual disabilities. She shared some personal information with us that she cares for her mother. Her mother was in a medical situation from the time she was 8 years old, where she would have to help her mother with her tube feedings and mobility access. And now she is caring for her incontinent needs. So she shared how that has become a passion of hers throughout her life, and that she is eager and ready to help students that have some of those same physical limitations. So she is going to be working in one of our life skills classrooms at the primary center and supporting the two ladies that you met this evening that we were able to bring on board there. So I think it's going to be a really great benefit to our district and to that program specifically. Do you have any questions about Charmaine?
Yes, there's a question coming. She lost train of thought for a second.
Yeah, I did. So, is this a specialized paraprofessional position where we're not hiring somebody but doing yeah, like I'm not.
I'm sorry, I was having a little bit of trouble hearing that question. Was it a question about the agency, Sunbelt?
Hi, I'm asking, is this a specialized paraprofessional position, which is why we're contracting out as opposed to hiring like we have people?
That's a fantastic question, and my goal this year is to have less third-party agencies and more Sto-Rox personnel. However, we have a contract with Sunbelt for one position. It was signed by my predecessor in March of 2025. So we are either locked into that for a school year or until March 2026, or we need to give 60 days notice before we can dismiss that, which means we would still need to pay that position regardless of filling it for those 60 days. At which point we would then need to fill that position and have that turnover for some of our most vulnerable students.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And then next, approve the agreement with the Watson Institute to enroll 3 students for the next school year. Ms. Linton Bigler.
Yes, as I'm sure you're aware, I can't discuss the specifics of the students in question for FERPA, but we do have students that have been already placed there, again, prior to my coming aboard, and they're doing well there. So it's not best practice to change their placement from when they'd been successful until now. We had one student that was in process of being placed whenever I arrived. So I did see through that process to honor the team's documentation, data collection, and FBA completion to determine that those students' needs would be best met in those settings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then approve the updated renewal quote from Every Way for Unique Learning Systems for the Life Skills Classroom to include 4 renewals and 1 additional subscription.
Yes, sir. So the 4 licenses were already previously board approved. And this year, with our growing number of students coming into our district, which is a fabulous thing, we had a high early intervention numbers. So our kindergarten life skills students were 6 students. We now, as of today, we just had another enroll. We have 5 grades 1 through 3, which gives a total of 11 life skills students. Which is a very, very high number for that age of kid with that high need disability level. So we decided to have 2 life skills classrooms at the primary center this school year, which would be an additional life skills license for a teacher to be able to provide that instruction in the classroom on a functional level, but still aligning with our grade level curriculum.
Thank you. And then retroactively approve the Crossroads Speech and Hearing Work Order for Speech IEP consultation and administrative services for July 29, 2025, August 25th, 2025.
Yes, so for this one, we had our early intervention students who needed their IEPs completed from special education teachers, which we were able to utilize one of our primary center special education in-district teachers to write those IEPs on an hourly rate. However, our in-district speech therapist that formerly assisted with those resigned at our last board meeting. So she was obviously unable then to fill those. We're still working to hire that in-district speech therapist. So since we already had a contract with Crossroads with a therapist who works at the high school, we were able to bring their services in at an hourly rate to write the early intervention speech portions of those IEPs to have those kindergarten students ready for day 1 of school.
Thank you. And then just the last thing for you, retroactively approve PACE invoice for ESY and PCA services for 1 student for ESY summer. Okay, never mind. We're good to go.
Yes. So again, this is a student that was already being served at Pace School. So for a continuum of services, that student qualified for ESY and continued their placement in the setting that was best meeting their needs.
Thank you. And before we let you go, wanted to ask you really fast, for your first, your short time here, some things that you kind of been seeing so far and, what you're looking at and what your plans are gonna, I guess, moving forward, like what's your direction moving forward?
So we had a very productive meeting today during professional development as a full special education department, the school psychologist, the special education teachers district-wide, our Crossroads speech therapist. We met together for a couple hours today and really dove into our updated special education handbook that outlines all of the compliance regulations that we're going to be focusing on correcting within a lot of our paperwork this year. Over the summer, I've been combing through each and every IEP and NORUP in every single student that we have district-wide and made a spreadsheet with notes for each of the case managers of areas that we can improve in compliance to best meet our students' needs. And my hope is that when we really go through these with a fine-tooth comb and identify those supports and areas of strength and weakness, that we can improve our in-house programming to start reducing our out-of-district referrals.
Thank you. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Next, number 8, retroactively approved the Lexia learning system for Core 5 reading and power prescriptions. Any comments, concerns? Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, the Lexia Core 5 is designed for K through 5. Power Up is for grades 6 through 12. This is an intervention resource that's adaptive. We like all of these programs because they're adaptive. They adjust to the students' needs and create learning paths appropriately for them based on what they need. This one is more of what we call a progress monitoring tool. So after we use the NWEA for the universal screener for all the students, identify their needs, this one hones in specifically on reading intervention and is specific to that as a progress monitoring tool. And this would included professional development as well because it's a new program. We need to get the teachers what they need to be successful with it.
Thank you. And then Rich earlier approved the McGraw-Hill quote for Alex Math Supplemental Program, grades K through 12.
Yes, this one is similar to Lexia, all the same concepts, but this one is specific to math as opposed to where Lexia is specific to reading. Again, for progress monitoring, and again, including professional development in that cost because it is a new program for us.
Thank you. And then particularly approved the Great Minds quote for Eureka Math for K through 6th grade for the next school year.
Yeah, this is a program that we've already been using, so nothing new here. It's just the approval of the student workbooks and also teacher digital resources, access to the online piece.
Thank you, sir. While you're up there really fast, just approved the piloting of open ed resources for K through 12 science at no cost to the district.
Yeah, we've been exploring some different options there. We had some things on the table that just weren't cost effective. We decided to pivot from there to this Open SciEd, which I researched pretty extensively at my last district. And as a former science teacher, I'm a big fan of it. I don't have access to a lot of that stuff because I'm not there anymore. So I'm going to begin that process here and get the things that we need to move forward investigating it with our staff. We'll explore the digital and the hard copy resources, see what fits where, make decisions. It is NGSS aligned, which is the new science standards nationally. Pennsylvania has a Pennsylvania-specific version of that called the STEEL standards, and the NGSS is basically what the STEELs are pretty much lined up with. So we feel like this is going to be a real nice standards-aligned piece, and it's also free, and so that's fantastic too. It's very highly rated, and it's super cost-effective. So we're excited to look into that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you. And we'll go back to number 11, approve the extension of the agreement with the AIU for special education consultative services by Lucy McDonough, approved on May 22nd, 2025 to extend until December 31st, 2025.
So one of the reasons why we need to do this is when Brittany came in, we talked about where the focus should be. So within 2 weeks, she wrote a handbook as a starting point to ensure that we stay on track, compliant with every single IEP. And as she said, they're going through every single one, making sure all of our I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and cleaning up our systems and processes. And she truly needs assistance with that. It's not a one-person job. And so we need to extend Lucy's help to ensure that we get this right and never have to look back after that.
Thank you. I want to jump to legal really fast. Ma'am, you have anything publicly?
I'm sure I have 2 items on here. One is to authorize our office to prepare an invitation to bid and other acts necessary to carry out the sale of the foster school. And that minimum acceptable bid shall be $250,000. And we're excited because we think that'll bring some revenue to the district. And then second, I'm requesting a motion to authorize the filing of annual tax assessment appeals. Again, we file these where properties have been undervalued, and so we file these appeals in the hopes that we're going to get some money back for the district where that it has in fact occurred.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Are there any committee reports to be heard? I read the notes from the meeting today. Yeah. Thank you all. And Ms. Cooper?
Yes. The Policy and Procedure Committee met on Tuesday, and we discussed being proactive in opposed to being retroactive on getting some of these policies updated. We also discussed working with the admins who are in the building and discussing with them to see, putting priorities first with those policies and having them included.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Welcome.
We're gonna go ahead and end this meeting and go into an executive session. We will not be coming back. So thank you all very much for coming tonight. Next meeting will be next Thursday here in this cafeteria, unless otherwise noted, at 7:00. Again, thank you all very much. We appreciate you all. Y'all have a good night.